In this chapter, we will see a service recovery management model and how self-qual, service quality, and the equity theory can be used to improve the service recovery and complaint management process within the customer relationship management approach. The complaint management process starts with the dissatisfaction with the product or the service. Let's take the example of an airline. For example, a loss or a delay of a luggage. It starts that the luggage is delayed or lost.
You're dissatisfied with the service. What happens if the severity is important? You complain. If your luggage is lost, then you complain.
Or if an airline does not want to attribute you to reward you with miles that you have earned by doing a flight, then the severity of the incident is high. So customers will complain. Another factor is the attribution of the responsibility. If the luggage is lost and the attribution of the responsibility is on the side of the airline, then the customer will probably engage into a complaint management process. Or if the miles are not credited by the airline, then the responsibility can be attributed to the airline, and the customer will engage into a complaint management process.
It depends on the severity and also on the attribution of the responsibility. By the way, statistics show that 95% of customers do not complain. Actually, a few customers finally complain. The main reason is inertia again, because we don't expect a lot of benefits for the efforts of complaining. The second is that most of dissatisfaction are low. That is why the severity is too low, so that customers do not complain. But in these cases, when you have repeated dissatisfaction, what happens? The customers will not complain, and then he might defect. So that is why most dissatisfactions are silent and result in the switching away to other brands. It depends also on the purchase purpose. Actually, if you're dissatisfied when buying a product which is very important for you, again, it's involvement, the moderating variable. If the product is very important for you, then the probability that you complain is high. If the purchase is not important, for example, if you buy this bottle and you see at home that the bottle is already open, you probably won't complain. But if you buy a bottle of champagne for 150 euros, the bottle is damaged, then you will probably go back to the store and complain.
The result is that after a first dissatisfaction with the product or the service, the customer will complain. And he will come into a complaint management process,
which can be easily optimized through a theory called theory of equity or justice theory, used a lot in service management. The justice is defined through 3 dimensions: a procedural dimension, a relational or interactional dimension, and a distributive dimension. The procedural dimension is the dimension concerning tangibles. It means that is it easy to engage into a complaint process? For example, easiness means that you can complain by Twitter, you can complain on Facebook, you can complain with a chatbot, you can complain by email, you can go to an agency, you can complain by telephone, you can complain actually with omnichannel. It would be very easy to engage into a complaint. So the easier you can engage into a complaint, the better it is from customer point of view. Because when you are dissatisfied, you have a mean to easily explain your problems and to get your problems resolved. And that's why, by the way, only 5% of customers complain, because it's in a lot of cases very difficult to complain. First of all, you have to find a contact. Then the contact might be you don't have a phone number. Sometimes there's a phone number, but you have to pay. Wait in the hotline for 30 minutes, so you have to spend already a lot of money. Then you have to find an email address. If you have an email address, it's not an email address, it's a kind of formula. You have only 30 words to express your dissatisfaction, which is not enough. You can write, but nobody answers.
So the easier it is for a customer to engage into a complaint management process, the higher will be the procedural justice, and the more customers will be satisfied. It's a win-win situation because customers will get satisfied. You avoid a double deviation from dissatisfaction, so customers can be won back. But on the other hand, complaining customers are also a gold mine in terms of information about defective products, about defective relationships, about any other problems in the service chain. The second dimension of the theory of equity are interactional justice. This is related to relationships and service quality. So clearly, the more the complaint, the more the recovery process management is proceeded based on the variables of service quality or self-qual, that is reliability, that is empathy, politeness, individualization, interaction, speed of process, the more the customers will perceive justice and the higher will be the satisfaction. Research and service management has shown that the interactional dimension of justice is the most valued one from the customers, even before compensation. And the third dimension of justice is the distributive dimension, which concerns compensations and rewards. Because in minimum, a customer expects that he is reimbursed the amount of the defective product or service. At maximum, he expects that the firm gives him some rewards as a compensation for the damage he or she felt or experienced, or for the efforts that the customer is doing when engaging into a recovery process by giving the information about a defective service or product, or also by giving the firm the opportunity to win him or her back in the recovery process.
Naturally, you cannot offer to all customers the same quality of service. That is why some customers cannot complain directly. They bring not a lot of customer lifetime value. The relationship is automatized via Messenger, so via, for example, chatbots. For high value customers, you offer a toll-free hotline that can be called from all over the world. It's the same for the relationship quality. And above all, for the compensation. Better customers will get more compensation than better customers, because they contribute more to the value of the firm. So customers will then evaluate these dimensions of justice. Again, it's a process of satisfaction, of expectations, and a question of perception. If the expectations are higher than the perception, then the customer will be dissatisfied. If the perceptions are higher, so the real perceptions are higher than the expectations, the customer will be satisfied. So you have a double satisfaction process, a first dissatisfaction. If you fail here, you will have a second dissatisfaction. And if you have a second dissatisfaction, you will have different results, which can be characterized as hate. So some customers then hate the brand. So at minimum, they will only avoid the brand. This is in 95% of the cases. They will switch to another brand, become unloyal. Some customers will do negative word of mouth. Some customers will engage into destructive behaviors, such as real physical destruction of equipment of the brand. Some customers, when they become angry, they go into the departments, open bags of crisps, throw the crisps on the floor. They are insulting checkout counter women. In the Paris region, which is the RATP for the metro, angry persons towards RATP. We have some persons, they take the knife and cut the seeds. Some will engage into law procedures. Negative emotions can lead to very negative outcomes when there's a double deviation of satisfaction. Various satisfaction and relationship quality can have positive outcomes, such as for positive word of mouth, loyalty and engagement, what you have seen in relationship paradigm, but also to some extent tolerance and resistance to counter-persuasion. If the relationship is good, if you know that things generally go well with the brand, then you might be even tolerant momentarily to one dissatisfaction, because you know that's an exception, because generally you're always satisfied with the brand. But this means that actually you have already to be engaged in the relationship chain with repeated satisfaction. So this is what is happening. So hate and love, a lot of literature and self-marketing research showing that actually these emotions happen, showing these negative outcomes and showing also these positive outcomes.